Hi, welcome to Fratello InnoTech, your ultimate destination for learning latest technologies.
Hello everyone, welcome to this session on components of API request. So in this video we will explore how API communicate and break down the key elements of API request. So here from endpoints HTTP and HTTPS and request methods to headers, parameters and request body. So request payloads and authentication. By the end we will have a clear understand of how these components work together to make a successful API request. Let's understand. So let's get started. So one by one here. So coming to the API endpoint. So here so look at the API endpoint. So API endpoint is a specific URL where the API can access. It acts as a communication point between client and server. So each endpoint represents a particular resource or functionality. So now let's take a closer look at the structure of API URL here. So this is the URL. An API request URL is made of several important parts. So first we have the base URL, which identifies the main API server. Next come to the resource. So see that, such as facts, so which represents the data or object we want to access. So we can then use path parameters such as ID and to identify the specific resource. We are using the ID to identify specific resource. Finally, the query parameters allow us to send additional informations or filters to the API. So understand these URL components is essential for creating and working with the API request effectively. So this is all about API endpoint. And coming to the HTTP and HTTPS, the difference between HTTP and HTTPS. So next, so this is the hypertext transfer protocol, and so it sends the data without encryption. So which means the information can potentially be interpreted, and HTTPS adds a layer of security by encrypting the data exchanged between the browser and the server. So as a result, HTTPS provides safer communication. So it builds greater browser trust and give user more confidence when interacting with a website. So it can also provide SEO benefits. So in short, HTTP is not secure, while HTTPS provided encrypted and secure communication. So for modern websites and APIs, HTTPS is the recommended choice. So this is the recommended choice. This is not secured when you are sending files and data. So regarding that, so I'm coming to the request methods. So these are the request methods we are using in APIs. So get method, look at the picture. Get method is used to retrieving one or more resources, and post is used to creating a resource, new resource, and so put is used to updating an existing resource. So it will require complete fields. So it requires all fields. So and one more is patch. So patch is updating an existing resource, partial updation. Suppose if you want to update a single field, so you can use the patch. And one more is delete. So delete is used to existing resource. So retrieving the allowed methods for the resource. So and one more is options. So retrieving the allowed methods for a resource. So this is all about request methods regarding HTTP. And one more is headers. So headers are the key value pairs. These are all components of the API request. So headers are the key value pairs sent in API request and responses. These are all headers. So here content type application JSON. So whatever you are seeing in image, so these are all the headers used to send the metadata or additional details. So helps the server to understand how to process a request. So used for authentication and security, and define that data formats like JSON and XML and etc. So more. So and one more is parameters. So parameters are the inputs sent to an API to get a specific result. They help to filter, search, and customize data. So types of the parameters here: query parameters and path parameters and header parameters and body parameters. So query parameters added in URL, like city equals to Hyderabad or name equals to something. So and one more is query parameters. It is the part of the URL. So get the user with ID 101. When we are giving 101, it will display the details. And header parameters sent in the headers. So whatever we are using in headers, so we are passing that parameters in headers in this. So body parameters sends inside the request body. So mainly in post and put. So we are so we can see in practical in front of classes. So and one more is request body. So our payload. So request body is the data sent from the client to the server. So mainly used in post, put, patch request. So it contains a actual data to create or update resources, usually sent in JSON format. So it helps in APIs process user input, not used in. So these request body is not used in GET request, and it works along with the headers like content type application JSON like that. So and one more is authentication in its type. So authentication is the process of verifying who the user is. So it ensures that only authorized users can access the APIs. So used for these authentication is used for security in APIs, and it requires credentials like username and password, token, etc. So it happens before accessing the API data. So it works with authorization, what the user can access. So there are different types of authorization methods: basic authorization and digest authorization, and JWT tokens, open authorizations, and API keys. So we'll discuss in while explaining that authorization methods practically. So these are all the components of API requests. So thank you.
Thank you for watching the video. Please like the video and subscribe the channel for live updates. Please visit www.fratelloinitech.com for more courses.